Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Baby's album review. Today we got Kenny Mason, Ruffs. What an album this is, man. Last one we got from Kenny was Angelic Hood Rat. You know, we got the deluxe version. A little bit more added on to it. Wasn't really that cohesive because it was maybe like 20 plus songs, something like that. This one we got today is what?
46 minutes and 16 tracks.
Kind of concise. I mean, that's pretty good average for the song times. I don't feel like the songs go on too long. And he does a lot of beat switching, flow switching in this project. Most of the songs you can see at the end, at least the ones where he's going for like a rap flow, you can see at the end he kind of turns it up another notch and just shows you how far he can get into his bag with his flows. On the other end of the spectrum, a lot of it is punk rock influenced or just hard rock influenced. You hear a lot of guitar shredding on this project, a lot of screaming, particularly on Nosedive.
Full rock song, pretty much. I was really surprised by that one. For a second, it threw me off.
But it worked. It worked.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's good. Great track. One of my favorites.
Insane energy being brought throughout the entire project. One of the things that I love so much about this is that Kenny is not afraid to dive into either bag at any given moment. And he does it with his like full heart. There's no reservation. Him doing rock and rap, it works. It's effortlessly switching between the two. How much genuine charisma he has.
The artists he worked with a lot of time are unique. I mean, he was all over Jid's last project for certain hooks, certain songs. He could do hooks really well on his own. He doesn't need a singer a lot of times because he has a cool singing voice. He can hold a melody and he can rap. Like on Halo, Givenchy Bag, he has moments where he's basically just doing rap tracks with a little extra sounds in them. But he's just spitting at you, going hard, talking about some certain stuff he was talking about, Angelic Hood Rat. But I think he gets way more in depth on songs like Shell, and as we get detailed, he really starts to go in about how he feels being from Atlanta and having the sound he has. Because it's really different. He's really original.
Yeah.
The videos, I feel like the way he promotes his stuff, he's really found a niche. That's why I was so excited for this project. Just like you were probably, you know? I remember you were really on Angelic Hood Rat. And then I really started to flip on it as well because it was like, once it clicked, those songs had a lot of replay value. And I'm getting that from this too.
One of the main things I like about this, we were talking about before, you were saying there's a lot of growth in here. It's hard to find growth for certain artists when they do stuff so well off rip. Like you go to Angelic Hood Rat or you go to some of the singles that are on like SoundCloud or something from Kenny. He's got one with Deontay Hitchcock that's like amazing. Amazing rap ballad. And they're just both spitting. And it's like almost like backpack rapping. He can backpack rap for days. But like he doesn't need to just give you that. He's got a whole other side of himself that comes out on this project. Not a lot of people can do. I mean, some people could try to force it. It's not going to come off the same. Not as genuine. Just uniquely himself. Yeah, I really just appreciate that. Even if you're so good at one facet of what you do, you know, working on the other parts of your craft and making yourself a more well-rounded artist is something that's going to get everybody's attention. So this
album, I feel like it will get a lot of people's attention. Even if you don't like the whole thing, you're going to like certain tracks. I feel like Slip and Flip, a good example of that. You go from rock raging to brand new Glock is in the clip. My mind way too locked in to Slip. Like he starts going in and then Young Nudi's a feature on the track. Kills it as well, adds his own little flair to it. You know, straight up hip hop pretty much with, you know, noises that just come up and it's like, where did you find this for this part of this song? I saw that potential on Angelic Hood Rat and I saw it really tapped in onto with this project. Halo is a good example. I feel like that was damn near boom bap-ish, but not totally, you know, he did it in his own way. And as we say, like with artists, we really want that. I don't want you to just totally sound like someone else. I mean, it's cool to wear your influences on your sleeve, right? You know, we all have influences, but you know, you start to find your own way to make it your own. I feel like he did that on almost every song on this. I'm really impressed with this album. Progression is noted. I like rock music. I sometimes tap in with the newer artists in that scene. To hear him do this in a way where I feel like it's pretty balanced. And even when he goes completely to one side, it's not like he's just reaching and he's making bad songs within the rock scene or making a hip hop song because it's hard to go back and forth. Especially on a project, like you said, it's only 16 tracks, 40 minutes. So he has some shorter songs on there. I don't really have many complaints. It's all positive.
What are some of your favorite references that he brings up? My favorite from Spin and Flip, Sub-Zero saying finish him.
That was one of mine. He says, I like the YSL line on Givenchy Bag where he says, "You would think we was with Thug Slattin," you know, because he was going around so much doing what he does. He does make references to a lot of pop culture or artists in that scene. I feel like once he, like working with Nudie on here was tight to see. I think as he starts to work with more of those trap rappers, like I think more people are going to start reaching out to him because he's really good on hooks. Really good on hooks. It's not like where I'm like, man, you should have got this so-and-so. He really knows how to do a whole track. I'm assuming he's writing all these songs. Like, he knows how to make a song, even if it's a different song format or like a different like sound, to make it flow right into the other, and it works almost seamlessly for me.
I mean, you could look at 333 and Adam, right, as one of them, where he incorporates the same chorus into both songs. They're two completely different moods, right? And he just switches over, and it's like seamless, bro. It's something about that Atlanta sound, man. It's so you can do anything with it. Literally.
Yeah, they're unified.
Like his like whining, like crooning that he does, how it transitions from like, you know, Atlanta rapper to like punk rock artist, it's really not that different. So it's like he just found a really good balance in between, and he can flow in between, and he just rides that wave. His own little wave, bro. It's crazy. It's not like back in the day, Lil Wayne trying to give you a rock song here and there. You know, where he was experimenting, right? It's like somebody who really is a fan of both genres and does them both incredibly well. So
it's hard to execute. You know, a lot of artists have tried it, maybe on songs, whole album. I kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, going into the project, you know, I didn't know how it would be executed, and he executed it really well. Nosedive, I brought that up earlier. Shout out to Dean Dawson, killed that feature. I looked more into his music, and he's into this sound, so it kind of makes sense. That second half where he starts going like with that aggressive rock, like I was like, who is this? This like I thought it was a rock artist or like someone totally in that scene, but he's like a smaller underground artist that other people should check out too. And I love that the features he got fit on every track. He didn't try to get someone who might have been a big name, or like he didn't try to get someone who might
didn't
have
need
worked.
it, bro.
Yeah, he didn't need them. He didn't need any big features. How many features are on here? 3. Dip was really tight too. That's dang near one of the, I think he's done a music video for that. That feature was tight too.
Shout out Dave the Tragic.
I like the video they did, and I really think his flow at first really helped Kenny later on the track, as far as like it really added to it. All the features added to the tracks in their own way.
It's like, how tapped in is this guy? Because who be listening to Nudie outside of like, you know, ATL people? So got an ATL artist on there, and then he also got Dave the Tragic, and Dave the Tragic just worked with like Overcast for like that Allergy song. You remember that? That was like his hit. Now he's really popping out. He brought him on there. On Angelic Hood, he had what, like Freddie Gibbs, JID, all that.
Curry.
But I like that. I like that he cleaned it up and he took those big names away. So now you got to focus on Kenny.
That was the thing about Angelic Hood Rap. He held his own with pretty much a lot of those features, if not all of them, right? This one is more space for him to break out of his shell, as he touches on later in the album, to show that he can really control the tempo and control all these tracks. With the features recently, they've been mainly getting them maybe for hooks, or they get them for like a part. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if more artists let him like rip a verse or like do tracks like this, you know, maybe even like alter their sound to work with Kenny, they can make some crazy tracks together. I mean, you know, other rappers have let him, of course, rap, but I'm just saying like recently.
Yeah, they haven't been letting him rap recently, bro. I mean,
and I think that's why
I can see why.
He spazzed on a few of these tracks. Yeah, you see why. Like, I think it's one of the things where you would have to compete. Mama Don't Know. Man, I was like, what is this track?
One of the best choruses I heard.
Yes. So. Then he just goes in with that. He's rapping, but he's going in with that rap rock flow, especially on this track. He's really mastered that.
He's got that like grunge, like little growl. Fits with him. Call nigga pup because it's rough where I live, you know. He's
keeping it grounded. He's not talking about emo shit. He's still talking about ATL or like what he's doing out. He's not like changing all his topics either. He's still talking to niggas, and that's what I like too. RX was a cool little one with the Mindy, getting more of a slow R&B vibe. It was interesting. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I love that he still tried to, you know, slow it down, maybe, you know, get a different perspective in the album. There's something for everybody on here. You're gonna like everything on here. You might not leave with something. You might leave with everything, because that's kind of where I'm at with this album right now. It's
infectious for sure. You're getting into one track, you're gonna get into the other ones. Concept wise, like these are all pretty similar tracks, so you're really gonna like it if you like one of them. It feels like so.
There's a want for this sound. It's not a dying sound. Him doing this, but I also can see him doing more of this or slowing it back down. You know, working with people like Freddie Gibbs again. Because I could see them doing another cool track. And I hope keeps working with these people and building connections in multiple lanes, it'll lead up to him being able to expand this sound or expand whatever he wants to do. He did a really good job with this. It's recommended.
Perfect person to have done this album. Like, there's no other substitute for the sound or for what he did on here. And being from Atlanta, being just in that hub of music and all these different sounds like that mesh together in Atlanta, it was bound to happen, right? So, you know, he like shout out Kenny for getting it started. But I mean, I can't wait to see what evolves out of it. Who else gonna work with him? I mean, just Nudie, right? Like,
I think he probably wanted it like this for this album, but I can definitely see the next one him getting way more collabs. Nosedive, I could hear like someone like Denzel Curry with his aggressive rap flow on that track if he really wants to get in that bag like he used to. You know what I'm saying? It was certain tracks I heard maybe certain people on, but it wasn't like, oh, I need them. It was like, oh, I could see this feature working perfectly because he's worked with those artists before and it's been top tier. I was like, I know he could do that as well, but it was dope to see him flex and be like, you know what, I'm gonna hold it on for the most point.
You know
was a
what
flex.
you're doing, bro.
It was a flex.
He shouted out YSL so you can get Thug when Thug Free, right?
Thug Free, all of them. Gonna get all them niggas on here. I think he obviously knows how to do things. So if anything, artists influence each other. He's one of those people where if I started to see him work with other artists, he might even pick up on more influences and do even more crazy shit. Or they pick up off him and they build, you know. I feel like he can work with a lot of different sounds. And that's why you've seen him on a bunch of people's projects recently. He's able to adapt. That's a skill. That's a much needed skill in the game.
If you wanted to know basically what this album is essentially about, it's just about him. It's about Kenny. It's about what he does. It's floaty, trappy. It can be all of it.
See it being in my top 10.
It's already, it's in my top 10.
Yeah. So, if you have time, listen to this album. Like I said, if you don't like it, you'll take something. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you, man.
All right, y'all. That about does it for this episode of Hip Hop Baby's album review. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on the gram and the bird. I got the watermark for you. Send us beats at thhhbpodcast@gmail.com. Also, send us feedback. If you like us, tell me that you like us. I want to know who my enemies are.
Yeah, just like Kenny, we trying to peep the ops, man. Anybody is welcome to come and chop it up with us on here for the most part, unless we think you're going to be hating. With that being said, peace.